Hi everyone. As you can see, I'm live after a long time. So, as you can see, the topic of today, phone games, right? So, before we get into our positions, I need to tell one thing. Phone and games are important for us, and they're very important for us to learn. Because if we don't know how to play in phone in game, we would lose or make a draw in a winning question. We need to learn phone and games to win in phone and games, and some ideas or structures that you need to remember or you need to know, which you can use to win or make a draw in a game. So our topic is that. So give me some time. We will dive into the topic. So yeah, I'm here, and now should we dive into the topic? Okay. So as we see the position, whose move it could be? So eh, do you see a dot like in the place where ABCD is written? There, do you see a dot? This dot is means indicates whose move it is. Like now it's white, which means it's white to move. So that's the way. Okay. So now what should white do? Of course here at this position the main topic is right phone and games, but we need to learn about key squares. Now what is key squares? Key squares are what we call those squares whose occupation by the king assures victory, regardless of whose turn it is to move. In other types of endgames, we may also speak of key squares for other pieces beside the king. The d5 square on which the king now stands is not a key square. White to move does not win. The key squares are c6, d6, and e6. Black to move must retreat the king, allowing the enemy king onto one of the key squares. With white to move, the position is drawn since he cannot move to any key square. Yes, he cannot move to any key square. And this question is simple draw, because what will you do? You play here, let's say there could be, if it's black to move, like I just put a null move. We, we are not going to learn about null move. So like if it's like black to move, we win. Why? What were the key squares? C6, D6, E6. We have entered in one of the key squares, which is C6. And now what he plays? If he plays here, now we should be careful. But if we are not, then it's all also okay. You can push. This is also a way. This is also a way, because now whatever he does, pawn is going to promote with the support of the king. But here this is more simpler, because if you move to any square like this, now let's say he moves here, but now check is there, and now your opponent should resign, and if he does not, you play and win. Like what he can do, if he comes king to e8, king c7 is simply winning, king d8, d7, king e7, king c7, game is over. But if it is not black to move, what what can do? He's, I mean, this king e7, d5, and now we see that this is a normal position in which a draw happens, and it's a simple stalemate. So let's move into key squares number 2. Do you see the question? Yes. With the pawn on the 5th rank, the key squares are not only a7, b7, c7, but also the similar 6th rank squares, which is a6, b6, and c6. White wins even if he is on move. Like, this is very easy to calculate. King a6. Note that king c6 is inaccurate in view of king to c7. This is a dubious move. You can say blunder, because now this is game is draw. How? What he will do? King a7. Yes, but this is still winning. I mean, this is not a draw. Complete, not a draw. This is winning, but this is inaccurate. This is a dubious move, not a blunder. Sorry. King c7, king a8, king to b6. You have to run. If you push, stalemate. And after this position has came again. So that's why king c7 was inaccurate. King a6 is the best move. Now there's no means king a7 or a8, because if king a8, b6, king b8, and b7, like, yeah, no, king c6 is inaccurate in view of king a7, when white has to return to the starting position with king c7, b6, check, b6 check, king 8 is nice, equal. If your position wants, not equal, but yeah, this will be a draw. What am I saying? Not a draw. It would be inaccurate. Sorry for what am I telling. I'm having some problem today. So, in simple language, King C6 is inaccurate because we have to return to the same position as we have seen, and King A6 is accurate because we do not need to return to the same position because B6, B7 now. After he plays King C7, we play King A7 and the pawn promotes. And what if he does something else? Is there the draw like the last question? Do we need to do the same thing? King A7. Actually, here the old mod also works as we have seen in the position before. It's B6. He cannot play this. Winning. But if he tries to do this, this is an interesting move, but not that interesting because if you make a blunder, it's a very easy stalemate, and that's why I have told this move is interesting, but actually it is not because of King A7, and game is over because now the king has to move here, and now after the queen promotes, it's an easy win. So let's move into key squares number 3. Now here the key squares are A6, B6 and C6. And C6. The sensible thing here is to head for the square furthest from the enemy king, since that will be the one hardest to defend. The farthest from the enemy king, since it would be hard to defend. It would be the one hardest to defend and hard to defend. This will be hard to defend, or not that hard actually, but this would be the hardest to defend. So, sorry, what should we do in this question? So, I would give you some time to think, like 30 seconds. When I was a beginner, when I was new, I was just learning chess from 3. No, not 3. Oh, not 3, yeah. From 20, 21, 22, like that days. It took me 30 minutes. Just kidding. Who would take 30 minutes to think in a position like this? Took me many time, 15 minutes to think in this position. And this is very easy. And at that time, I did not practice chess. Do not had any rating. And it was very hard for me to play chess at that time. Hmm. So, what is the move here? I want to do something. Do you see something? Yes. This would be a problem. Why is the green showing? Oh, this one is that. Okay, sorry. Now there is nothing to say sorry about. Okay, as we have seen that the green move is king c2. But why is it green? Do you know about the idea? Is it to play king to c3, c4 and b5? Wow! But can his king stop us? Let's see. His king plays e7, we play king c3. Wow! Here, and our idea to king b5 is stopped. And this is a dead draw. It's not dead draw, but it's a complete draw. No one can save. No one can win this game. Means no one can black cannot win this game without any piece. But white cannot win this game because this is a drawn position. But instead of this amazing blunder, king to c3, amazing blunder, we play this move, which is the best with an idea. King to b3. Now what is the difference? The idea of here is to play king c4, right? It's the same position. Why would be the idea to play king? Idea of king b3 to play king c4? Yes, you have got the point, and that's the point. The idea of the move king c2 to b3 is only in one, king to a4. And now, what is our idea? King to b5, right? Yes, king c6. We stop the idea. Now our king to b5 idea is gone. Is it a draw? Are we going to push b5? No, this is a winning. King a5. At that time when our king was on c4, there was nothing because we cannot enter these squares. But when our king is on b4, this seems a little far than c4, right? But the moves it will take to reach in that those squares is equal. And now we will reach our key squares very easily. Why? King b7, king b5, and do you remember his equation? Simple win. What he does, whatever he does, king a7, what will we do? King c6, simple. Now wait, if he tries this move, check, king c7, king a8, king b6, and this position is winning. Why? We have seen this position in the earlier position or earlier position, because after b6, king b8, b7, position is simply winning as king a7. After king c7, king a7 and b8 equals to queen. So in this position, king a5, white is just simply winning. Now let's move to key squares number 4. J. Moravec, 1952. It may be made by him. I don't know. He's the creator of this puzzle, I think. But this is a puzzle from a game. This is a very famous question. Hmm. Do you see a draw or a win? That's the thing in this move. I'm giving you sorry, 3 minutes to think in this question. So is it completed or you need more time? If anyone needs time, please write in the chat. So does anyone need more time? I've given too much time. And this question is actually easy, not that easy for beginners. So, what are we going to do? So, King F2 is a move in this question. And what if something like King G1? So, actually, King G1 is a mistake. And why? King D7. Actually, we can talk like this. This is more good for your calculations. So king g1, king d7, and black's king successfully defends the pawn. Whereas now he is too late. Right now, I was talking about now after king f2. So h4. If it has king d7, king g4, king e6, king h4, and that's a simple winning. Because after moves like king c5 or king c7 or anything, king c7, king takes pawn, and he cannot escape the opposition move. Opposition is compulsory. But, but, what if plays h4? Well, this is a good move. Why? Because it stops king to g3. Now, king g1. The natural king f3. Natural king f3 is not a mistake, just a blunder. Making a draw in a completely winning position. Wow. Like, this is the position that you get, and this is the position currently you are in. Why king f3 is a blunder? h3 is a good move. Game is over, simple draw. If the pawn is taken, black's king heads for h8, and if g4, white cannot gain control of any of the squares on the 6th rank. King d7, then king g3, king e6, king into h3, king f6, king h4, and king g6 is simple draw. Can you win this question? No. But instead of that, king g1. Okay. Now you would say that I am wrong. You would say that I am wrong. Why? He can also play h3 now, and if I take, black's king will head for h8, and it's a simple draw, right? If you play something like else, it's the same position, right? It's different. g3. The key squares for a pawn on g3 are on the 5th rank, closer to white's king. If our pawn is on eh, if our pawn is on g3 or 3rd rank, the key squares for that pawn are on the 5th rank. And if our pawn was on g4, then our key squares would be the in the are on would be on the 6th rank, and we cannot achieve that rank, right? Yes. Now what he does, king d7, hoping for a draw. It is not. King h2, king e6, king into h3, king f5, king h4. What he does, he cannot escape us. We have to lose now. We have to win now. That is the mod fit here. Because after king g6, king g4, and it's just a simple win for white. I gave a lot of time for this puzzle, so it may have been a little boring. Okay, something is written in this question. Tragicomedy. These puzzles are from the book. Some nice endgame books that I will recommend you are wait, let me gather them. Till then, you just think. I have just came. Wait. I'm just. There are many good. I was saying that there are many good books for chess and games. I will only show you four. I printed this book on my in my home, uh, with a printer that I have. So you may not be able to see it. So this is the book. Best for chess endings. If I do this like this, okay. Let's move the camera a little near. This is the book, Best for Chess Endings, by John Spielman, Bob Wade, and John Tisdale. Now, very famous book. Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual. This is the second edition, but there are also fifth, fourth. I don't know about the fifth, but I have heard about the fourth, third, and first. There are also other editions. Now I have bought this book. It's a very nice book. 100 Endgames You Must Know. I also have a little study on this book where there are 100 puzzles or more than 100 because there are not only 100, there are not 100 puzzles actually. There are 100 ways, styles, or a structure. So I will recommend you this book, Fun and Games. because it's actually nice. 100 Endgames You Must Know by Jesus de la Villa. And it's the new edition. It is written here. And this is a very nice book. I have completed this book. This is a very nice book. It's written here, like here, as new edition. This is a very nice book. I love this book. I completed this book actually. Wait, what is this? So I have also completed this book. It's a very nice book for endgames. And currently I'm showing you the puzzles and styles, combinations, patterns from Diversity Endgame Manual, second edition. And now again this book. I have not completed this book, but it is just, oh, one thing I forgot to tell you was about the 100 endgames you must know. There's also a workbook. What am I doing? There's also a workbook for in the name of that book, 100 endgames you must know workbook. You should buy that if you are buying 100 endgames you must know to test what have you learned. Now this is 100 endgame patterns you must know, and it's just more thick from the 100 endgames you must know book because there are more patterns that have been taught in a very nice way. It is legendary. But in that book, they have just taught, shown how to play in those endgames, and now here, this is the pattern. So if you want and to master in the endgame, because I've seen something in my games. Sometimes I play on chess.com. There shows game rating, and below that the our accuracy of our opening, middle game, and end game. The opening accuracy is always like 100, completely 100, 98. Sometimes I've seen 93 only for one time. Like that, middle game accuracy is kind of something hard to have above 90 for me. So, but I have got also 92, 95 middle game accuracy. No, yeah, 95 only one time. But above 90, I have got sometimes for some time. So, but when I see my endgame accuracy and recently played Blitz game of mine, I don't know which game it was. My endgame accuracy was like 96, 97. In one game, my endgame accuracy was just 98. So I see that my endgame accuracy is the highest accuracy that I got in my games. Except the opening. Sometimes opening is 100 because you sometimes many players play by the theory and I also play by the theory and just full accuracy. So these were the books that I want to recommend to you. And this position is a really nice position. And this is a tragicomedies which I don't know about because these are in the diverse and manual tragicomedies. A title is there and there's some positions are given there. Coles, Stanky. Wait, the lady playing white. Who is the lady? Cole. I don't know. Scotland's board one saw that she must lose the d5 pawn and therefore resigned. What can I say except no comment needed? So, do you see this? Yes, actually a draw. Best move here is to play king to e2 or c2 or anywhere you want to. What happens? You lose your d5 pawn. Oh no, I lost. I cannot believe that. You play king f2, you lose. Play king e1, you lose. Why? Because you don't get the opposition. Brother, play king to d2. Game. It's over. This is some simple draw. Because if you play this, king e2, preparation, and if it takes, king to d3. What is the special move here? King d3? Yes. And now, if it was white to move, we have to move somewhere else. And black would just reach one of their key squares. But now it's black to move. Black have to move. We again take the opposition. Pawn push, king d3, and this is just a simple draw position. So the idea in this position is to play king to e2. So let's get into key squares 6. Okay, this is very easy. Rook f4, right? No, king g5, and white should resign. This is also a tragicomedy. White should move their king, and here black might win, but black have very low chances to win. In a position like this, am I right or wrong? I am wrong. This position is a completely draw. But if you make a blunder like easy rook f4, let's exchange the rooks, and he is going to take, right? Yes, he is going to take, and we take, and this is a draw, yeah. But not like that. He's not going to do play that. King g5, if you move your king, your rook is gone. And the only move here for you is to play rook takes f5, king takes f5, game is over. It's white to move, you move your king, enters the key square, and you lose. Simple, right? So you should not do that. Okay, let's come here now into this. Okay, you might say now this is same puzzle that we have seen. Yes, it is. As you can see, it is a draw. But I'm not showing you this puzzle to solve. I'm showing you this puzzle to learn. Call this now no, key squares. I hope that you have learned about key squares. And now what are we going to do now? Is it something else? So we will meet again, right? Yes. Bye.